Hi everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. In this video I'll be teaching you how to draw a horse's nose in coloured pencils. This horse has, as you can see, is half pink and half grey. This is going to be part 1, so I'm recording this introduction after I've recorded part 1. So this is the stage that we're going to get to in this video. So just started on a lot of the base layers, and then in part 2 I'll talk you through adding sorts of final details and blending it all together. So before I start, I've just picked out a few different colours that I think I might need to draw this horse's nose. So I've got a few different shades of pink. I've got really light pink, like almost a white sort of pink, down to like a darker shade, and then I've got this one which is burnt sienna 10%. It's got a little purple hint to it, and then I've got a few different greys. So I've got really light, this is warm grey 1 from the Polychromos. I've got cold greys, and then I've just got some different shades of grey. So I've picked out mostly warmer colours. They've got slight purple undertone to some of them, like the cocoa and French grey 30% from Caran d'Ache Luminance. Yeah, let's get started. The first thing I want to do is add in the whiskers. So I do this using an embossing tool. So they need to go in first before I add any colour. So I'm just going to put those in. I have a video on my channel, like a tutorial for a few different ways on how to draw whiskers for your pencil drawings. So if you'd like to watch that, I'll just go into a bit more detail and give you a few different options as to how you can draw whiskers in. I'll link that in the description for you if you wanted to watch that. But essentially this just indents the paper. So when I add the colour on top, it leaves the whiskers white, basically. She's got a few darker whiskers as well, but the white whiskers I put in first, and then the dark whiskers I do very last thing. Okay, now that is done, what I want to do now, so her nose is half pink and half like grey, so I just want to get this sort of middle line mapped in so that I don't lose where one colour starts, one colour ends. I'm working from, well, a few different reference photos for this one. So this is a commission. The main photo that we're using for the pose, she has this like brown stuff on her nose. I can't remember what the owner called it now. I don't know a lot about horses. Yeah, she had stuff on her nose. It doesn't look pink, it looks brown. And she's actually got a really light, sort of bright pink nose, which is really cute. So I'm just using a few different photos to make sure I get that accurate for her. I just started with the cocoa pencil from Pablo's, but I'm not sure if I've gone too dark, which is why I've just rubbed it out. So I'm going to use a light grey to start with, because I'll still be able to see the difference. So this is beige from the Caran d'Ache Pablo pencils. You can use, if you don't have this one, it's just a warm grey. If you've got the Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils, I would probably say this is quite similar to Warm Grey 3 if you've got that one. So I'm just rubbing out the graphite pencil lines from my outline as I'm going. Just erasing a bit at a time, because otherwise I'd end up losing the shape of it. I thought this would be quite an interesting tutorial to do, because obviously the bright pink nose probably not very common for most of your pencil drawings, like especially if you're a pet portrait artist. Like me, I know most of my commissions are dogs, so when it comes to drawing a horse, then it's strange, because it's like you're sort of learning something new all over again. Okay, now I've got that line in, I want to just get in the very darkest areas and make sure that they're all in the right place. So I'm going to outline the nostril, and then just the bottom here where his lip is. I am using the Cocoa pencil now. Again, if you don't have the Pablo pencils, I would maybe use Warm Grey 4 or 5 from the Polychromos if you've got that one. And I'm just doing the same, just rubbing out small areas at a time. I'm not pressing super hard either, so I'm using quite a light pressure, because I want this to blend out later on as well into the other colours and everything. So if you go in and press too hard, then it's not going to blend later. I've recently drawn a bay horse as well. I've recorded a few different videos from Luna's portrait. Luna is the bay horse. I've recorded a few different videos from her portrait as well. So if you'd be interested in learning how to draw that type of fur, then have a look on my channel. I didn't do any real-time tutorials. I just did shorter ones talking about the colours that I use for the fur, because that's quite tricky, I would say, because there's just so many different colours in it. I talked about how I drew the mane, so she has like black black mane. So I did a video on that as well. I did do a real-time tutorial on how I drew her eye. So if you like videos this sort of style and you're interested in learning how to draw horses, then take a look at that one. Just around here there's shadow as well. You can see I've already started some of it here, just where I was drawing the fur. I don't know if horses have fur or hair, so if there's any horsey people in the comments, please let me know. So you can see here now where I've added the whiskers. They're starting to show through. If you don't have the embossing tool like I used earlier, sorry, if you don't have that, you can just draw around them, but I find that it would look quite as realistic. It depends on the scale of your drawing as well. So like this is A4 size, so just like a printer paper sheet, so it's not that big. So if you were to draw around the whiskers, I find you probably just see the lines around it. Yeah, especially if you're just starting out, it's worth giving it a try and just see what you prefer. As I say, I have done a video on, I did 3 different ways that you can draw whiskers, but they do all involve sort of like buying extra materials. I don't know why I've got this annoying little cough today. It's not even enough to call it a cough, I don't think, but it's just like my throat is all funny. So, apologies. Just pressing a bit harder for this area here because it is really dark. I'm really proud of this drawing so far. I just think it's all coming together really nicely. It's probably one of my favourites. I'm just going to colour this in lightly now in the darkest areas because it looks almost black. So I'm just doing these little circular sort of strokes. I'll press a little bit harder where it goes really dark. It's like around here it does go a bit lighter in the photo, so that's why I'm not pressing as hard here, because as I said about this bit, I want it all to blend together. Sorry if at any point my hand does cover what I'm doing. It's really hard to try and get it to stay still and be able to show you what I'm doing and still be sort of comfortable while I'm drawing. Okay, I think that's all the darkest areas mapped in now. It's a slight mark in here. I don't know if it's a mark or like a shadow, but I'll just put that in there before I rub out all of my grid lines and everything. Okay, I'm just checking my other reference photos now. I'm going to start on the pink. I've started a little bit just at the top. I don't know if you can really see it. I used the beige red polychromos pencil just to start it. Okay, this is going to be hard, but it's okay. We're doing it together. Got a few different angles as well, which is quite helpful. I think it goes a bit white here, so God, that looks dirty. Okay, I just scribbled a bit on a scrap piece of paper there because there was like dirty bits on it, and I obviously don't want that coming off on my drawing. This is Pink White from Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils. So really, really light pink. I'm gonna use that there. Maybe go over it slightly with a warm grey. Okey-dokey. I think I am going to start with this beige red, and then I'll blend in the pink white, and then go in with the darkest bits. So I'm starting really with like the middle sort of colour. Just doing circular strokes again like we did down there. I find that helps to blend it in. So for now, I'm just leaving out the very lightest areas. And I'm just sort of slowly blending them out, so using a bit of a lighter pressure towards the edges. I'm really enjoying recording these tutorials for you on YouTube. I think these type ones, like the real-time chatty sort of tutorials, are my favourite to do. But I've tried a few different sort of types of videos. I've done a few like time-lapse tutorials, some with voiceovers, some just sort of music and like text on the screen. Just to, you know, people sort of learn in different ways, and you know, people might not have time to sit and watch a hour-long video, but they've got a spare like 10 minutes to watch some sort of top tips. So yeah, I'm trying to do a few different options for tutorials, see what people prefer. I feel like I haven't got to think too much when I'm doing this type of tutorial, because I'm just literally talking you through what I'm doing. With the shorter ones where I record like a voiceover and things, like I've got to think about it a lot more. It's like I need everything to be nice and sort of concise, and make sure I include all the important sort of tips and techniques and everything. I'm just going to use Buff Titanium from the Luminance pencils down the bottom. Goes really light. So we don't really want to put pink there. Just blend that up and out. I'll bring it into the grey area slightly as well. This will probably be more of a warm grey sort of colour, but I'll just use this as a base so that it all blends together. when you're blending coloured pencils, it is all about the layers. So all of your sort of underneath, what I call your base layers, they're really important for the final result. You need it to be quite cohesive. Make sure you're using the same sort of colours. I'm just going to use, may as well finish this bit now, on grade 2. Just for this part. And I'm blending it into the buff titanium as well. When I'm drawing, sometimes I am a bit all over the place. Like, I'll start that pink bit and then I'll move on to this area down here, and then I'll go back to the nostril, and then I'll go back to the pink bit. But obviously, since I'm trying to teach you how to do it, I'm trying to do one bit at a time. Okay, that bit will go probably a lot darker later, but that's fine for now. I'm just looking at my other photos. I think I could just put a bit more beige red down here. Up here as well. I'm pressing slightly harder where it goes a bit darker, and then using the light pressure where it blends into the lighter, almost white fur or hair. I don't know. It's this little bit here I'm not sure what to do with. I'm thinking it'll just be a bit of a darker pink. But then I'm not sure if the nostril is there. I am going to come back to that bit. Just see how it looks later. Just using the buff titanium here as well, because where the nose sort of sticks out, the sun is shining on it. This is like the sort of furthest point out that the nose goes. That's why when you're drawing, if you're drawing like a dog, you get the little sort of bright highlight at the top of their nose, because that's the point that sticks out the furthest on their face. So the light hits there first. So it's always good to be aware of that sort of thing when you're doing your drawings, like knowing where the light hits and where the shadows are and things. And it's quite hard, and I think it comes with practice, really. Sorry, I just realised I've just started going everywhere with this buff titanium. I didn't even realise I was doing it. I just think it needs it, really. left this bit here because it looks really light. I think I'll go in with the pink white there. So I'm probably using about a medium pressure for this bit as well. There's no point pressing really lightly because it's the lightest colour. So I'm not really going to be putting many more colours on top of it. That's the whole reason that you do sort of use light pressure, is so that you can build up more and more colours. So if you are just doing a really light area and you're not going to be putting much pencil on it, then you can press harder. Just blending that out now into where we put the beige red earlier. Starting to look quite good already. So tired today. It's Monday. Just had a busy weekend in work. So I'm shattered, but it's okay. It's a new week. New start. Maybe I'll have a lie-in tomorrow or something. I'll put this pink white now all over the lightest parts that didn't have much colour on. Gonna go back in with the beige red then and start really building the colours up. Just gonna bring it up here as well, just to help blend it more into the white fur. So I've been drawing for 4 years now. It's not a super long time, but I've had a lot of practice in that 4 years. So working from a few different reference photos is something that, as I say, I've had a lot of practice in. I've done a lot of commissions over the years where I've had to work from a few different photos to get the right colours and everything. This is probably the hardest one that I've had to do that for, I think mostly just because, as I said, most of my commissions have been dogs. So horses is a bit out of my comfort zone slightly. Like with dogs, I'm a lot more used to the direction that the fur goes and where things are, I guess. Whereas with this horse, I don't feel as confident, I'd say. But if I didn't think I could do it, I wouldn't have taken the commission on, so I know I can do it. It'll just be a little bit harder. But that's fine. You don't learn if you don't sort of push yourself. That's what I've sort of learned over the last few years. I could have turned so many commissions down thinking, oh no, I can't do that, that's too hard, but you've just sort of got to take the opportunity and learn as you go. As long as you, if you are doing commissions, as long as you're being realistic with your client about what you can achieve, you'll be fine. Obviously, if you get a photo and you think there's no chance I can draw from that, possibly if it's really blurry, then just tell them. But as I can't think of the word, but when it comes to like just different fur types and things, like if you've never drawn a black dog before and someone comes up to you and says, can you draw my black Labrador, then go for it. They've obviously seen your work and sort of trust you enough to be able to do it, and as long as you've got a good enough photo that you think you'll be able to work from, then just give it a go. Like, what's the worst that can happen, really? If you start it and you think, oh my god, this is not going well, then start again. It's all practice. You can do little practice sections beforehand. There's, tutorials on YouTube. Yeah, just give it a go. So you don't learn if you don't try. And that's, as I say, that's how I've learned, really. I'm self-taught. Okay, I know I said I was gonna try and do one section at a time for you. I lied. I'm gonna leave that as it is now and go on to the grey area. This bit I am more or less just copying from the one reference photo. So it'll be a bit easier, and then I'll know then how sort of dark I need to go with the pink bit. I've lost my pencil. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Warm Grey 2 from the Polychromos. I'm just gonna rub out my grid lines. Okay, I'm gonna start at the top. I'm using the same small circles. The white fur comes down into this bit a little bit, so I'm just gonna leave that and blend that out later. Oh, I can see here now, I think it is the shape of the nose, so I'm just going to add that in. I'm going to use Warm Grey 4 just to put that part in there. And then I can see here as well, I missed it earlier, just these darker bits. Okay, back to the Warm Grey 2. I'm just covering the whole area. I'm going to use that as my base layers then. I'm going to use a mix here now of Cold Grey 2 and Warm Grey 2. I can just see there's like a slight cooler tone to the lightest parts here. So I want to make sure I get that in. With coloured pencils, if you notice like just a subtle change of colour, then add it in. It'll make it look a lot more realistic. Like sometimes like in the nose there I can see like purple sort of hint. So I'll make sure I add that in as well. Like don't think, oh, I'm not going to put that in because it's purple and the horse's nose is obviously not purple. Then you probably will still get a realistic sort of result. But it just helps a lot more if you can add those sort of more hidden colours in, I guess. I'm using the Burnt Sienna because it's like a pinky purple. Just doing a really light glaze over the top there. And just this part. Looks like she's got a lighter part just below there. So I'm going to do that in the Cold Grey as well. And just map that in early on. Making sure I rub out all of my grid lines because I don't want those in the final drawing. This graphite pencil is easy enough to rub out, but as soon as you add the colour pencil on top, it's impossible. Just just added a bit of buff titanium on the top there as well. And I'll just go around it with the warm grey again. I'm going to use in some areas now. I've got the Caran d'Ache Luminance pencil in raw umber 10%. Just up the top by here. This is a really good coloured pencil. I use it in almost every drawing, especially for like this sort of colour, fur as well. I find it really good. It's just quite a neutral, warmish colour. It's really good. I'm going to bring it down here as well. Just going to do this area now around the nostril. So I'll do a cold grey down here. Because again, I can just see there's like a sort of bluey hint to it. So the cold grey is really good for that. And here as well. Just trying to look at my other photos now. Quite dark around the nostril. And there it's a bit lighter in this photo. Just going to carry on with the warm grey and just build up from there. I find sometimes the easiest thing to do is literally just add a base layer. sometimes it can look quite overwhelming when you're looking at just a white piece of paper. But then as soon as you, for me anyway, as soon as I add in just that base layer then really quickly, all of a sudden it doesn't feel as much to do. It feels a bit easier. So I've just used it for the nostril as well, so that will blend out, but then I'm probably going to draw the nostril next. Yeah, I think so. Now I'm going to use dark sepia from the Faber-Castell Polychromos. I'm going to start darkening the nostril. I'm not pressing super hard still, because I can see it like blends out. So I'm using, like, if you can see, sort of like the edge of my pencil rather than the tip. I'm going to go over this darker area as well. Just go over what we drew in earlier with the cocoa or the warm grey, whatever pencil you used. think there's a car outside, so apologies in advance if Biscuit barks. The way he looks at me when I ask him to be quiet, he's just like, excuse you, I'm trying to tell you that there's people outside. Can you be a bit more appreciative, please? As if, like, no one is allowed outside of their house apart from him. He's mad. I always feel bad if I'm out on a walk and I end up walking past people's house and they've got like a dog in the window and he starts barking. I'm like, oh god. So I know how it feels. I'm just like running past them and I'm like, sorry, didn't mean to upset anyone. There's one in our street as well. Luckily we don't have to walk past him. But yeah, he goes crazy whenever someone's outside. So I was like, sorry. I feel like this one is taking a long time to get anywhere, but it's quite a big area. I did think it might take a while, to be fair. Before I started recording, I thought, oh, maybe I should just do like a little bit of pink and then a little bit of the grey, so that it's not like a super long video for you. But then for some reason I felt quite optimistic. I was like, oh, realistically it won't take me that long, but it is. I should have known better and to think I would be fast. I'm just going over now the very darkest bits that I can see. We've just booked a holiday as well, going to Athens in Greece. Never been to Greece before, so should be nice. It's gonna be really warm though, and I don't do well in the heat, I'll be honest. I'd rather be in my jumper and my scarf. Like, I don't like being cold, but I don't like being boiling hot either. I'm quite fussy as well with food, so I don't really like Greek food. So it's my boyfriend's job to find restaurants that I can eat in, because he will eat literally anything. So he just needs to pick out places that he thinks look nice and then just check that there's something on the menu that I'll eat. No, that's not very good of me. Like, people travel to new places to try the food and everything, but I'm just not very good at that. I like what I like, and that's about it. I'm just gonna start making this bit darker now, just finishing this bit. Okay, let me just check my photos again. It's probably like the worst one for me to do a tutorial on because I'm working from so many different photos, but I just thought it would be good with the pink nose, like I said. It's just something a bit different, really. Oh gosh, I don't know what colours. I think I'm gonna use this one. It's French Grey, 30% from the Luminance pencils. I'm just gonna start going a lot darker now. So I can see there like the lines on the paper coming through. It's just because I haven't pressed that hard or put that many layers on it yet. So we'll smooth that out later on. I do quite like my drawings sometimes to have a bit of like the grain of the paper coming through, because I sort of like the look of, you know, you can still see that it's a drawing and you can see like the pencil strokes and everything. But those lines, that's a bit too obvious for me. Everyone has a different style though. Like, you know, you could copy this tutorial or any of my others, and it would still look different, I guess, to mine. We all work slightly differently, and that's what I like about, well, all of this, you know, art and coloured pencils and everyone. Like, I follow a lot of artists sort of similar to me on Instagram, so other artists that use like coloured pencils to do animal drawings, and a lot of the time you can sort of tell who's done the drawing without even looking at their name. As soon as I see a post, like, I can tell who's done it. It's just because even though we're all drawing, you know, realistic animals in coloured pencils, we all have different styles. I am tired. Might need a nap later. I don't know if you heard that little noise then, but I can confirm that wasn't me. It was Biscuit getting comfy in his bed, doing a little stretchy noise. So it sounded a bit weird, and I thought, oh gosh, I hope you didn't hear that and think I'm here like grumbling behind the camera. I am going to add in a darker cold grey as well. So I have cold grey 4 from the Polychromos, just for some of the more shadowed areas. I just think I was looking a bit, I don't know, just not right. So I think this will help. Okay, I think I'm going to split this video into 2 parts. I just think it'll be too long for one video, and you're not going to want to click on a 2-hour video. I don't know, you might, but I'll split it into 2. So I'll upload this first part and then I'll get the second part edited then. I think I just need a bit of time to sort of have another look at my reference photos and things, make sure it's looking okay with my client, and yeah, go from there. So thank you so much for watching. Look forward to seeing you in part 2. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel and you would like to see more art videos, tutorials and draw with me's, then yeah, subscribe please. It would really help me out. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and let me know if you enjoyed it.